The city lights glittered like gold, reflecting off the tall glass windows of Samir Rahman's office. He had built an empire out of nothing: real estate, investments, luxury brands. Everything he touched turned into success. People saw him as a symbol of power, respect, and perfection. But inside that perfectly tailored suit lived a man who hadn't smiled in years. Every night, when his staff left and the world went quiet, Samir would pour himself a glass of wine and stare at the photograph hidden in his drawer, a picture of a little girl with big brown eyes and 2 tiny braids, holding a balloon. His daughter, Aisha, he hadn't seen her in 16 years. He told himself it was for her best, that leaving her mother, walking away from the family, was the only way to protect them from the chaos his ambitions brought. But now, all that remained was silence. Thick, suffocating silence. He had money, but not laughter. Success, but not peace. And in the hollow corridors of his mansion, her laughter still echoed, like a ghost that refused to die. Aisha was now 24, strong, independent, yet fragile in ways no one could see. By day, she worked at a non-profit helping underprivileged children. By night, she wrote, not for anyone else, but for herself. For the little girl inside who still missed her father. In her small apartment, inside a wooden box wrapped with an old red ribbon, lay over 50 letters, all addressed to Daddy. Letters she wrote every year on her birthday. Letters filled with questions she never asked out loud. Why did you leave? Did you ever think of me? Do you still remember my voice? Each one ended with the same line. I still hope one day you'll come back. But that hope had slowly turned into something colder. Resentment, maybe. Or worse. Indifference. She had learned to live without him. She had convinced herself she didn't care. But deep down, she did. Because every act of kindness she gave to others was a way to fill the void he left behind. And yet, fate has its strange ways of reopening old wounds. It was a winter evening. The city was dressed in lights for a charity gala organized to raise funds for homeless children. Aisha was one of the coordinators, rushing around, managing guests, making sure everything went perfectly. That's when she saw him. At first, she thought her eyes were deceiving her. The tall figure in a black suit, hair flecked with gray, speaking to reporters. It couldn't be him. But when he turned, her heart stopped. It was Samir Rahman, her father. He hadn't changed much. His presence still commanded attention. His tone still carried authority. But his eyes, they looked empty, tired. For a moment, Aisha froze. 16 years of bottled emotions surged like a storm inside her. Anger, confusion, longing, everything collided. She wanted to run away. She wanted to scream. She wanted him to see her, to recognize her. And then it happened. Their eyes met. He blinked once, twice, disbelief flooding his face. His lips parted, his glass nearly slipping from his hand. Aisha, he whispered, like saying her name could turn back time. She didn't answer. She just looked at him, with the calmness that hides heartbreak. Do you remember me? He asked, his voice trembling for the first time in years. Aisha's throat tightened. Of course I do. You're the man who taught me what silence feels like. The music continued in the background, but for them, the world had stopped. After the event ended, they sat across from each other in a quiet corner of the empty hall. The chandeliers above cast a soft golden glow, but the air between them was cold. Samir tried to speak, words tumbling out awkwardly. I made mistakes, Aisha, but I thought leaving was the right thing to do, she interrupted softly. You thought disappearing from your daughter's life was love? He looked down, his chest tightening with guilt. I wanted to protect you from my failures. from the mess my world had become. Aisha's eyes glistened. You didn't protect me, Daddy. You abandoned me. Do you know what it's like to wait every birthday, thinking you'll show up? Do you know how it feels to watch other kids run into their father's arms and pretend you're not breaking inside? Samir swallowed hard, his vision blurring. I know I can't undo the past, but please, give me one chance to make it right. Aisha shook her head gently. You had thousands of chances. You had every morning to call, every year to write, every single heartbeat to remember me. Her voice cracked, trembling but strong. But you chose silence. Samir reached out, his hand trembling. Aisha, I love you. She looked at him, really looked, and for a moment, the little girl inside her wanted to believe it. But the years had taught her too much. She stood up, tears streaming down her cheeks. I loved you too, Daddy. But love can't survive silence. It dies there. He stood too, desperate. Please. She took a deep breath, her voice breaking into a whisper that carried the weight of 16 years. Goodbye, Daddy. I hope to never see you again. And she walked away. The sound of her footsteps echoed through the empty hall, fading with each step, leaving behind a man who had everything except the one thing that truly mattered. Samir stood there, frozen, staring at the door long after she left. His heart felt like it had been ripped open, the walls around his soul finally crumbling. He sat back down, the silence now unbearable. A punishment he knew he deserved. He took out his phone, opened his messages, and typed the words he could never say face to face. I'm sorry, my little girl. I hope your life is filled with the love I failed to give you. He didn't send it. He just stared at the screen until the letters blurred into tears. Outside, the night wind blew softly through the trees, carrying her goodbye into the endless dark, a reminder that some words, once spoken, never fade. Moral message. Sometimes the loudest heartbreak is not in the screaming, but in the silence that follows it. A father's success means nothing if it costs him his child's love, and when love is left unspoken for too long, it turns into goodbye.